Hold up. If you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time.
More variety than you can imagine. Relax Radio.
The Chat Trap. How is everybody doing? Welcome back to the show. This is the Chat Drop on Relax Radio. Hope you are having an amazing day so far. Hope you are enjoying your day. And to everybody that's tuned in, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being a part of the show. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. Let us know what's going on. If you're listening to us on our social media platforms, make sure that you leave a comment down below because this is happening live and we can communicate with you. We can tell you what's going on, and we would love to have your input. So make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you leave a comment down below, or you could always just call us on 07852 473 473. With that being said, Andrea, we're back on the show. It is the final few minutes of the show, but don't worry because we got so many interesting things to talk about with you, and we just want to say thank you for being a part of the show so far.
Thank you so much for everyone that is looking at the show because as we always say that we are grateful to have this amazing audience and to have you, Jamie, because with you we can discuss different points of view that we have on the topics. I really like the topics to be honest because they are not random, they are like different in another way, you know?
Yeah, completely. We always say variety is basically like what drives us here at Relax Radio. We talk about a lot of different things. Now, Andrea and I, we basically talk about entertainment gossip, everything to do with films and music or whatnot. Whereas Tim is going to come up next and he's going to give you a very insightful conversation on like business and tech and stuff. We have Nick who comes on later on and he talks about like, things like current affairs, politics, everything that you need to know. We talk about here at Relax Radio. So you definitely need to be a part of the show. You definitely need to make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. Okay, with that being said, let's get on into the conversation for this next couple minutes. And that's with regards to Netflix. Okay, so before we start, Andrea, are you somebody that watches Netflix? Do you have a subscription? Are you somebody that can't live without Netflix?
I know so many people like that, to be honest. For real, I think I was before I used Netflix, but then I started college and then working and doing more stuff, so I don't really have enough time. But I have like another application. I think it's Prime, Amazon Prime.
Oh, Amazon
But
Prime.
yeah, but I think that I prefer Netflix because it's more like open. You can see different things. But yeah, what do you think about Netflix? Which one? Amazon Prime or Netflix?
So I have never used Amazon Prime in my life, so I've always been like a Netflix girl, and I've been following like the series on Netflix. But yeah, I'm more of like a. People laugh at me when I say this, but I still buy like DVDs, and I'm still like a fan of
Whoa.
collecting. I know, it's really old school, and I do have Netflix, obviously, but like horror movies and stuff, you don't get on any of these streaming sites. So like
Definitely.
all of the old classic movies, the old horror movies, I just like love collecting DVDs of movies. As stupid as that sounds, and
No,
as
it's
old
completely
school.
good.
No, like I tell my friends, and they're like, Jamie, what's wrong with you? We have everything on the internet. You don't need to go buy an actual DVD.
But do
But
you have
that's
the DVD machine?
yeah, yeah, I do.
Wow.
I have a DVD player. I have a oh shoot, I can't remember what it's called. But I have all of these old it's all of my dad's stuff. So when they were small, they used to only be able to watch like DVD or
That's
whatever.
amazing.
So yeah, I'm still an old school, even though I'm really young inside, I'm like a really old person stuck in a young person's body. So yeah, people, I still watch DVD and I still am obsessed with like having like a DVD collection, if that makes any sense. But yeah, going back to the conversation with regards to Netflix, the reason I wanted to talk about Netflix, Andrea, is because Netflix is doing something new. Okay, so basically, if you are listening in and you are a fan of mobile games or games in general, you are going to be absolutely ecstatic and you're going to be so happy and excited because Netflix is actually going to include mobile games for subscribers. Which is crazy,
Wow.
you know how Netflix
Yeah.
only has had movies so far, but now you could also stream and play games, which is crazy.
That's a huge new, because as we always we can see that Netflix is really big, as we can see, because they have their own films, and now they are putting games to do it, it's another level. I think that they're just gonna highlight this year, because I think games, so many people like games. I think, yes, most of the people like games, and now they
Right?
have this another option to do that on Netflix. That's amazing.
Exactly. I feel like they are already one of the most booming businesses out there. But because they confirmed that, they are going to include video games as a part of the subscription package. So you don't have to pay anything extra. If you have a Netflix subscription, you get the video games. And apparently, it's how to get more customers, in their opinion, which I think is true. There's so many people who are obsessed with my sister. She can, play a game for 24 hours and they live stream it, and I don't understand anything of that sort. But
Same.
oh, do you not play games?
To be honest, I did like Zumba, like Just Dance, but then
Oh, okay.
I try it, but I'm not good at that, to be honest.
Right, so like PUBG and stuff, I tried it and I was
Yeah,
just like, it's not my thing. But I know
yeah,
that people
same.
out there are obsessed with games, and like for y'all, it's just, like a different reality. And I know my sister has like a whole different PC and like a it's crazy.
Wow.
But for people like that, I think if you like video games, this is definitely something that you are going to love, because Netflix is going to have video games as a part of their subscription. And yeah, it's crazy. I think it's one of the best moves that they're going to be doing, because now people can play games and watch movies at the same time. How amazing is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh my God, like if you have free music with Netflix, that's gonna be another thing as well. Because
Can you stop giving them ideas? I feel like
yes,
Spotify and I don't know, YouTube or whatever is going to go out of business if there's music on Netflix as
definitely.
well.
Definitely more platforms for that. But yeah, I think, because I think the music is another of those platforms that we use a lot. I think that I think most of the people listen music every day, either to go work, to go back, to I don't know, to just forget about the world. And I think
Right.
that if Netflix do that, they're gonna just do a very big business. Now they're really big, but imagine with that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Netflix, I feel like now, because of COVID-19, apparently, according to statistics, they had a huge number of users that started to use Netflix because of COVID. Uh, like people, I can't remember, but apparently their revenue was 19% higher this
Wow.
year as opposed or last year as opposed to the year before. But they're also saying that they lost a lot of money because of COVID-19. A lot of movies and TV series that were supposed to be produced had to be delayed quite a lot because of the whole COVID situation. So yeah, COVID has been good and bad for Netflix both. But I just wanted to tell people that there's going to be gaming now, which is crazy. And I know it's something that will make a lot of people happy, which is why we wanted to talk about it. When we come back, we're going to go for a little break now. But Andre, I think when we come back, we need to talk to people about gaming. I'm not a gamer myself, but there is a lot of controversy. Like a lot of people have different ideas about gaming. Some say it's good, some say it's bad. So that's something we're going to be talking about when we come back. So make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. For now, though, we're going to be heading off to a little break.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account, and then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million pounds. And they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Well, you didn't do very well. And they get upset, and when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young, well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he'd say to me, you had one to forget.
That's it. Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, you had one to forget. Get over it. And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, you've had one to forget, God, there'd be an inquest. Why did you reject my son? Well, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of losing. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid, I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday. And what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be, so that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about investments and pensions and taxes and where you are and who you work with, and your education level or your lack of education or how involved you want to be. There's a lot of variables that we take into account. And then we say, okay, here's a plan. You start like this, that's great. And then we review it all the time. And we say, okay, we need to increase it, we're on track, we're not, this is what is happening. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million, and they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so with different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
Hold up. If you wanna go and take a ride with me, better hit me, baby, one more time.
More variety than you can imagine. Relax Radio.
The Chat Trap.
Welcome back to the show. This is, of course, the Chat Trap on Relax Radio. How is everybody doing? How is your Wednesday going so far? We definitely want to hear your thoughts and opinions because this is Relax Radio, okay? And Andrea, I think what's cool about Relax Radio is that even though we call ourselves radio, we're so different to every other radio that you see out there, okay? Because we are basically giving you the opportunity to speak up. We're a radio that's interactive. And yeah, you don't need to have a frequency. You don't need to have like a actual radio to listen to us, because all you got to do is download our app or listen to us on our website, and you can take us with you wherever it is that you go, which is super simple and super exciting. So yeah, make sure that you go ahead and download our app so that you can take us with you wherever that you go.
Wow, I think that's amazing, because I remember that when I was a child, I listened to different radios, but I was looking for the like if there's connection, or I really
Yeah.
wanted to speak with the people and say you can put this music and this, and they never reply to me. So now that people have the opportunity to talk with us, interact with us, and tell their experience that they like have different conversations, I think that that's amazing. And as we have our app, I think that that's more easier for everyone.
Oh yeah, that I completely agree with you. It's super easy for you. We're just trying to make life easier for you. We're just trying to, give you the opportunity to speak up, give you an opportunity where you can voice out your thoughts and opinions. So go ahead and do just that by calling us on 078 52473 or you could always connect with us on our social media and or actually leave a comment down below. Okay, with that being said, Andrea, we were talking earlier about how Netflix is going to be introducing video games to their subscription, so it's not going to be movies and TV series anymore, but there's also going to be video games, which in my perspective is absolutely amazing. But I don't think parents are going to be too excited about this.
Oh no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah, because see, movies like Netflix already is such a distraction to children, but you add gaming to that, and gaming is already such a huge distraction to children. But with that being said, Andrea, what's your perspective on gaming? Do you think it's good, or do you think it's bad? What is your perspective?
I think it's good. I mean, I'm not gonna take it as a bad thing, but I think that if you control your time while you're playing, it's good because you.
Right.
I think it's bad when you play all day during the day and during the night, but if you play like 1 hour or 2 hours per day, I think it's good. Like it's another way to distract yourself and be entertained.
Yeah, absolutely. That idea of, I feel like in today's world, video games, gaming in general is such a big deal, right? Even though Andrea and me are not gamers per se, if for some people it's like a style of life. It's basically their lifestyle. It's what their life revolves around and whatnot, right? But yeah, one thing that you said about how gaming can be a distraction, I for one, like I said earlier on, I spoke to you how my sister is absolutely obsessed with gaming, right? And I feel like one thing, she actually uses games as like coping mechanism. So you know how I told you I use movies as a form of escapism or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know that a lot of people out there, including my sister and including a lot of people that do game, they kind of use it to, like, if they're having a really bad day, gaming can like help to uplift their mood.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
yeah, definitely. I
Yeah.
think it's
So
good because that's as we always say that people is different. That's her way to I don't know, to distract themselves and just be entertained.
right, and that I think is one good thing of video games. Just like other people watch movies and reality shows or whatever, some people just prefer gaming, and that's okay as long as there's a limit to it. I think gaming can be good. And the other thing that I've come to notice is when it comes to like everyday skills, video games can definitely improve everyday skills, like your hand-eye coordination, your attention span. That's another thing. For me, the
Wow.
reason,
Yeah.
even PUBG. Okay, so I told you how I tried to play PUBG. The only reason why I wasn't the best at it or whatever is because I don't have an attention span for that long. Like I get distracted by things so fast, and then everybody's dead, and I'm just like, ooh, what happened? you know? So I feel like, yeah, definitely when you game, you need to have like a hand-eye coordination, and you have an attention span. You're focusing on one thing for so long, so it can actually improve your attention span, can improve
Definitely.
your memory. So that's a good thing about video games. But let's talk
Yeah.
about the other side of the story. Let's talk about
Yeah.
how games can actually be destructive. What are your thoughts? Do you think that video games have any negative effects?
Oh, to be honest, as you said, like it's a really good point that you have more attention to things. But when I play games like Among
Uh-huh.
Us or something like that, I
Right.
get really stressed because I say I don't want to lose because I am a competitive person. So
Competitive? Uh-huh.
if I lose, I get really stressed. So maybe that could be a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely get that. A lot of people become so engrossed in the game that they kind of forget that it's a game. They forget that it's just a game, right? And they get so obsessed with it. Video games can definitely be addictive. So yeah, I completely agree with you. But Andrea, I feel like one of the biggest debates that we've had in today's day and age is if video games make people violent, right? You know how last year my, my memory is really bad. But last year, we had shootings in America, like how people in the preschool, in the shopping mall or whatever. In all of these shootings, a conversation that always came up was video games related to all of these shootings, and then does video games make people violent? Because we see that majority of video games are surrounded with shooting or
Yeah.
racing or whatever it is. There's a lot of violence that is involved. So a question that a lot of people had was, does video games make people violent? And yeah, and I think I read this article, it was on the Telegraph if I'm not mistaken, and it said that yes, there is a direct link between violent video games and because it increases um, aggression, or it increases your aggressive behavior. So that's just one perspective again. But I know a lot of people say no, just because you associate a murderer, that doesn't mean that you become a murderer. So it's all
Yeah.
about your personal choice or whatnot. But yeah, that's another controversy or a very big debate that has been there with regards to the negative effects of gaming.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you because I think that games, because you sometimes you forget things that are just fake, like they are not real. As
Right.
people, I don't know. I think people, as we didn't we don't difference that as well in another things. But I think that that's a situation that we need to really be awake and say this is the real world. This is not doesn't need to happen because this is gonna hurt someone else, not just yourself. And yeah, to be honest, I really complete with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Video games can be addictive. It can make people violent if you're using it with the wrong intentions, I feel like. But at the end of the day, see what we're trying to tell you, what Andrea and I have been, at least the conclusion that we've come up to, is that I feel like we spoke about this quite a lot today. But anything, if you do it without a limit, or anything if you do without a boundary, or without a cap to it, it can have negative effects. Similar to gaming, if you have a specific time allocated for your video games, and if you don't go to extreme ends with your gaming habits or whatnot, and if you can always control yourself, I guess it can be a good form of escapism. It can be a good form of entertainment. But you just need to know when to draw the line. You need to know how to control yourself, and if you feel like you yourself is kind of getting addicted to it, you need to know when to stop, and then you can get all the positive effects of gaming, and you can get rid of the negative effects that are associated with being a gamer.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you for saying that because I think that really can help people to don't be addicted to things. I think that we
Uh-huh.
everyone are addicted to things either with the phone, with work, I don't know, with different things. But yeah, thank you so much. And I think it's the time to leave us. That's pretty sad, but we're gonna be tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah, tomorrow, same time, same place, we are going to be here sharing with you a lot of information and a lot of entertainment as well. So go ahead if you want to be parts of it. If you want to be a part of interesting conversation, all you gotta do is make sure that you keep it tuned right here on Relax Radio. But with that being said, it's about that time that we head out of here. I will see you tomorrow, Andrea. We will see all of you listening in tomorrow as well. But up until then, have an amazing day ahead and bye.
Bye.